Tensions between the United States and Iran have escalated sharply following a dramatic maritime confrontation in the Gulf of Oman, raising fears of a wider regional conflict with global consequences. Notably, the crisis began when a U.S. Navy-guided missile destroyer, the USS Spruance, intercepted an Iranian-flagged cargo vessel named TOUSKA. According to the United States Central Command, the ship ignored repeated warnings for nearly 6 hours while attempting to pass through a naval blockade imposed by Washington. Notably, US forces then fired multiple rounds into the vessel's engine room, disabling its propulsion before boarding it and taking full control. US President Donald Trump confirmed the operation, stating that the vessel had a history of illegal activity and was already under the US Treasury sanctions. He said that American Marines now have full custody of the ship and are inspecting its contents. Donald Trump framed the action as part of a broader strategy in order to enforce maritime security and maintain pressure on Iran following the collapse of peace talks in Islamabad. He also accused Iran of violating a ceasefire by targeting international vessels in the Strait of Hormuz, warning of a tougher response if provocations continue. Iran, however, has strongly rejected the US version of events, calling the interception an act of maritime piracy and a violation of the ceasefire. Meanwhile, Iranian authorities, including the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, said that the TOUSKA was a commercial ship traveling from China to Iran when it was attacked. They claim that US forces fired on the vessel, disabled its navigation systems, and deployed armed personnel onto its deck. Iranian media also presented a conflicting account, stating that IRGC naval units intervened quickly and forced US forces to retreat after the initial attack. And in response to the incident, Iranian forces reportedly launched drones towards US warships operating in the region. While Iranian state-affiliated outlets claim the drones targeted American naval assets and pushed them back, there has been no independent confirmation from US officials regarding any damage or retreat. Tehran has warned that its armed forces will soon retaliate against what it describes as US aggression, signaling the possibility of further military escalation. Well, the situation has been further complicated by Iran's decision to shut down the Strait of Hormuz, one of the world's most critical oil transit routes through which nearly 20% of global energy supplies pass. And Iranian officials noted that the waterway will remain closed until the United States lifts its naval blockade on Iranian ports and shipping. Well, the move has already sent shockwaves through global energy markets, with oil prices surging amid fears of prolonged disruption. And diplomatic efforts have also taken a major hit. Iran has refused to participate in a second round of talks that were expected to take place in Islamabad, blaming Washington's approach. Iranian leaders cited excessive demands, shifting positions, and contradictions by the US, along with the ongoing blockade, as reasons for pulling out. Confusion had already surrounded the US delegation, with mixed signals over who would lead the talks. And as the standoff enters a critical phase, with a ceasefire deadline looming, both the nations continue to exchange accusations while increasing military readiness. And the unfolding crisis in the Gulf of Oman now threatens not only regional stability but also the global economy, as the risk of a broader confrontation continues to grow. That's all for now. Stay tuned to the Savera for more updates. Do like, comment, and subscribe to the channel.